So there I was over the weekend, and I was hosting an event for a few hundred people, and I was doing a presentation, and in the presentation, I incorporate a tremendous amount of bourbon. Bourbon for everybody. And the people who supply me the bourbon, Mike and Jim, they said, hey, we got something for you for your table. And walks over with a box. I got it right here. Walks over with a box.
Nice.
And this is the Jack Daniel's Sinatra. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That's America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. And yes, it's a lovely, lovely box in the interior with the little book and the story of Sinatra and then a place for the bourbon. It's a 1 liter bottle, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in at 90 proof. No applause. But it is the Sinatra, so, oh my God, he makes the exception.
Luck be a lady tonight.
Cha-cha-cha-cha. Sammy, bring the car around. Which I'm pretty sure got said. I'm just going to say that right there. The Sinatra is like, for some people, the Holy Grail. There is a real love of what this is. And this isn't bourbon. Of course, this is Tennessee whiskey. Because it is Jack Daniel's. 80% corn, 8% rye, 12% malted barley. Or I should just say 12% barley. Aged 5 to 7 years. And there's a whole style in which how they do the barrel. They kind of cut these grooves into the middle of the barrel. And then, after I think it's after the char. And so you have different types of wood hitting the juice right here. But it is the rarer find. The Jack Daniel's Sinatra is one of the rarer things, and it is this. I mean, that is just a deeper orange, right there. It's almost apple juice.
That's
color
fair.
is where we are with this. And what's weird is, normally Jack Daniel's is that banana nose. Right, that banana flavor. It's so outrageously distinctive, but I don't get it from this. It's a little breadier. It's a little richer. A little fuller. It's a little more cake for me than it is more fruit banana.
Okay, that's
I guess
fair.
is the way to put
so
that.
The banana is there for me, but it's fainter. Also, you get some oak. A little bit faint oak, and for me, vanilla.
Yeah, a touch of vanilla.
Yeah.
A touch of vanilla. By the way, this groove idea, if you don't want to get yourself a bottle of the Jack Daniel's Sinatra, we'll go over cost in a minute. According to the people at thebourbonculture.com, the same barrel process is used on Cooper's Craft, the 100 proof. And we have had that bourbon before because it's made by Old Forester, which is Brown Forman, same group of people as Jack Daniel's, but it's the nose does not overwhelm.
No,
it's flavorful, but it doesn't have any particular punch to it. I can't say that I'm getting a great bit of oak on it. I could argue there's a little bit of a citrus kind of movement going on there, but that is really it.
I'm starting to worry that I'm getting the cold that you had a couple of weeks ago.
You're not picking things up?
No, I'm starting to get a little stuffed up. I to the point where it makes me want to sneeze, but I can still pick things up. But it's weird. That banana hits me first, and I don't know if it's just because I've got Jack Daniel's on the brain and, this is all just psychological. But once you get in there, it's the first hint is banana, but it's not nearly as strong as what I would expect from Jack Daniel's.
Yeah. It's more cake. There's more of a citrus right going on, but you know what? It's enough sniffing. Fingers Malloy, are you ready for this?
I've been ready for Sinatra. I've been ready for this all my life.
The Jack Daniel's Sinatra right here. The Sinatra Select Bold Smooth Classic Tennessee Whiskey. Fingers Malloy is doing what's known as the Kentucky Chew, moving the juice around the palate, really trying to get a feel for it. I'm a believer in the 2 sips methodology. The first sip to set the taste buds, the second sip to really get an idea of the flavors. What say you, Fingers?
Well, there's definitely, I would say, that banana, as if you happen to be inhaling as you take it, the taste, you'll get that. But there's no real banana flavor on the palate. It's I'd say a little bit of baking spice. There's some oak, uh, maybe some cherry. It's
On palate.
Yes, it's very good. It's very good, and I'm going back and forth. Maybe a little bit of brown sugar.
Okay, so you're giving the sweet a name.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going in.
Okay, he's
the Sinatra from Jack Daniels. To your health.
to your health. He's going in, ladies and gentlemen, and he's doing what we like to call the Saginaw Swish. Maybe some cinnamon on the finish.
Sinatra swish.
Ah, the Sinatra Swish. There it is.
I'm going back in.
Oh, good for you. Once again, going in, and he's doing the Memphis Munch. Rat Pack Row.
Ooh, 90 proof, huh? 90.
Nice little bit of sting on the tongue.
Yeah. I think it plays bigger than 90. I do. I think you're right about. Are you right about cherry? You might be. It's a big fruit. There's a lot of depth to the fruit that's going on there. It has a little bit of spice, and that certainly stays from the middle tongue going back in. Only now do I get any kind of warmth in the chest. There is a sweetness that's kind of like that's not dark chocolate. That's not chocolate. Is that chocolate? There are a couple different layers of sweetness that are going on. I'm wondering, that's not nutty either. And you do get a little bit of vanilla in there. There is I think a little bit of that kind of working its way through. It's got a little bit of mouthfeel to it, a little bit of richness in the cheek.
Did you get any cinnamon on the finish at all?
No.
No?
You must have a problem.
Probably.
It could be you.
It
could probably be you. My issue, because I've had the Sinatra before, I appreciate what Jack has done here. Fingers Malloy, is this in your liquor cabinet for $155?
No, absolutely not.
Now, it's a liter, not a $7.50.
No.
Yeah. So I like what they've done here. And it is a unique presentation. But man, is it not my speed. It has never been my speed. And when they brought it to me for the event, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try, of course, because I was happy to give it another go. But nope.
Oh, listen, I like this. But $150 a bottle. I love Sinatra. I love Sinatra. I love the Rat Pack. It would look cool on a mantle, but man, for the juice, $150. No.
$155.
Oh, well, definitely no.
I think there are other Jack things I'd want to do. I really do. But we're going to put it on a cube and find out. Keep it here. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Let us talk about the state of tipping, which, as we have discussed and you have experienced in your life, has become freaking ridiculous.
Yes.
Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Oops.
Oh, no, it's okay. You can say yes.
Whoops. Yes.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. We should have had rehearsal. I'm Tony Katz. That's America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, because there was a story over there from Fox News that we found in the New York Post. 5 most and least generous tipping states. Right? Who's good at tipping? Who is terrible at giving the tips right there? And it turns out South Carolina is the top of the tipping world, giving 20.71%, the only state to pass the 20% threshold. And then after that, it's Wisconsin, Connecticut, Maryland, and Nevada. But on the other end, you go to Illinois, then Alaska, New York, Virginia, and then Oregon as the least generous state right there at only 13% is what it is they tip. You could play a lot with this and talk about the politics of the state, and you could do do the whole thing. You could play politics with this all you want.
Well, I would wonder. Let's take like the state of Oregon. We don't know what off the top of our heads what the wage laws are there as far as
the minimum wage, higher.
Yeah, and then some states, I believe, or at least some cities have enacted where you have to pay. You know how some wait staff, a lot of times they'll only make $3 or $4 an hour, and then they make most of their money on tips. Some restaurants, maybe some states have made companies go ahead and force them to pay a higher wage. So people are saying, well, the tip is folded into the bill already, so I'm not tipping as much.
So that could be it as well. By the way, in Oregon, the new laws come into effect July of 2026, where the standard rate will be $15.05 an hour. That's the minimum wage. Non-urban counties is $14.05 an hour. And then in Portland, the Portland metro area, it's $16.30 an hour, which that alone ends the conversation of this living wage thing. Because they're saying you can get less money in non-urban areas because it costs less to live. So therefore, there's no such thing as a living wage, right? It's all mythology. But the real issue here is that we have destroyed tipping by demanding tips everywhere. Always a machine. Do you want to leave a tip? Do you want to leave this? Do you want to leave that? And the answer is no. Yet none of these people have learned that it's damaging to the customer. And I can only conclude that the only reason they haven't learned is that people are tipping less, but they're tipping more often. So the percentage, now to your point, right? You make a good point. I'm going in a different direction. The percentage could be down, but the amount of tipping is up because every damn machine, kiosk, nonsense, fakakta craziness is saying, would you like to leave a tip? Do you care? Or are you a low-life scumbag? Huh? Everybody's watching.
Well, and what makes it worse is when the cashier, well, not the cashier, the waiter or waitress cashes you out and has the machine right there. Oh, the machine is going to ask you a question, but I'm not looking what the answer is. But they got one eye on the machine looking what the answer is. I'm going to tip you anyway, but it's like they're standing right over you as you're writing what the tip is going to be.
So that's
a violation.
Yeah, but the reason for that is that it's about card safety, right? You're no longer giving your card to a total stranger who you also trusted to bring you food that wasn't spit in. Or we could go full South Park. And then they walk away with the card, and you're like, well, what did they do with my card? Where'd they take my card? What just happened with my card? And so this way, the card is safer because it's never out of your eyesight or possession.
Then print a receipt for me to be able to fill out the rest of the information necessary to pay my bill, instead of you standing over me with the tablet in my hand looking to see what I'm tipping.
And you've only given me 3 options: 20%, 22%, or mortgage.
That's the other thing.
You're not wrong about that. The tipping culture is a problem, and I do think it is abusive, but I don't see an end. And I, by the way, you hear crazy stories where shop owners keep the tips. Have you heard these kinds of stories? That stuff is so messed up.
I'll tell you another thing you need to start looking at too are fees that are added to a bill that you don't know what they are. And I'll give you an example. Over the weekend, I was at a hotel and spent the night and then charged a meal and some drinks from the bar to my room.
Right.
And I woke up the next day and I looked at the folio, industry lingo, and there was a $30 service charge from the bar. And I said, I don't know what this is.
What?
A $30. It just said the name of the bar, service charge, $30. And I said to myself, I have no idea what this is. And if I would have just, a lot of people when they stay at a hotel, they'll just leave and not check out, not get the bill, and be surprised later on. Well, I called the front desk and I said, what is this $30 service charge? They put me on hold for about 2 minutes, came back and said, we don't know what that service charge is, so we will waive it.
No.
Yeah. So they waived the $30 service charge. And I said, thank you very much. Since you don't know what it is, it's nice of you to waive it. And I walked away happy. But if I wouldn't have looked at the folio and then called down, I would have been charged $30.
The front desk said we don't know what it is?
Yes, we don't know what it just says. The restaurant, the bar service charge. And we're like, we don't know what this is. And being that the bar wasn't open because it was 11:30 in the morning.
I'm assuming it's the bar giving itself the tip for the server because you charged it to the room.
But I left a tip. They still give you paperwork to fill out. And I filled out the paperwork when I paid my bill, and I put my name and my room number and the tip and the total. And it wasn't $30 on the nose. It was very strange. But thank you to that hotel for waiving that fee that they imposed on me that they didn't know what it was.
That's interesting. I have not seen that.
You hear about that in Vegas too, where they'll have random
Vegas can kiss off.
And a lot of people are saying Vegas can kiss off.
We've discussed that many times.
But there are fees, mystery fees, where you can ask the restaurant, what's this fee? And a lot of times they'll waive it. It's crazy, the fees that are added in Las Vegas. So look over your bill, whether it is the tip. That's the other thing too. When there's an automatic tip added to your bill, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to tip on top of the bill and the tip that was already added to begin with.
But those are places where you're expecting to tip. I don't want to be asked for a tip at a kiosk where I had to do all the work. It's not. It does have to stop. It is and the only reason I can come to is that it hasn't stopped, is that people still do it, and somehow the places, they're making money off of this.
It's our new normal, Tony.
Yeah, you can do with your new normal. I'll tell you off the air. Do with your new normal. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That's Fingers Malloy. You find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Year of the Duke. Or is it Duque from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust right here. This 5x48 with the Habano Rosado Ecuadorian wrapper, a Mexican San Andreas in the binder, filler that's Nicaraguan and Pennsylvania broadleaf. All right, I got a little uneven of a burn here. It's probably my fault more than anything else. It's not a big deal. Into the final third here, 5x48, smaller cigar. You have no problem with the burn whatsoever.
Yeah, you've talked me into it just because of my experiences lately with cigars and a lot of them being high maintenance. This has been a delight to smoke. The flavor profile is nice. At $17 a stick, I'm probably in. It's wood. There's a little bit of cocoa. There's pepper. You mentioned it's getting more tobacco forward as I go into the final third of the cigar.
And I'm getting a little more spice as I go into the cigar.
That's wild. So, yeah, I think I'm in. I would not buy a box of these, but I think I would have a couple in my humidor.
What if I buy a box of these and then we split it?
Okay. I'd do that. Yeah, right? I'd do that.
It's a nice stick. It is. And Dunbarton, Steve Sacco, well done. Well played with this. It's not as spice forward as I really thought it was going to be with the Habano Rosado wrapper. But it's now at least present. It's there. But that initial with the char, I keep going back to this, which remind me a little bit of the meat lovers, the red meat lovers that he does. Steve Sacco, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. I like that. I'm going to start searching that out. Can I find cigars that have this little bit of char? And you're like, Tony, do you mean burnt? I wish I had a better way to kind of explain it to people and present it to people. But this is a nice stick. This is. Yeah.
Was the Red Meat Lovers a limited release, or can you still get that?
I think you can still get it. If I remember, Red Meat Lovers was something that was only going to be available. It was for an event that he was doing. I don't know if it was in New Hampshire where their home base is or somewhere else. and then so many people liked it, he introduced it out. Right? It was was it for an event on a battleship? I think it was, where they serve steak this and meat that and everything else. And so I think it was for that. And we are drinking the Jack Daniel's Sinatra, coming in at 90 proof right here. Now I got a cube where I'm going to dump it in. It's got a lot of fruit to it. A little bit of that traditional banana on the nose. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my flavor profile, as it is neat. But I moved it to a cube. You added a little bit of water to yours. Let me go in here.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen, and he's doing what we call this week the Sinatra swish.
Thank you very much. It smoothed out a little bit, right? It's definitely got a little bit smoother. I keep saying, is that chocolate that I get? Dark chocolate? You said cherry. I think there's something to there. I'm a little more just fruit in general going on. There's a little bit of richness, a touch of mouthfeel, but in the end, and by the way, the ice on the cube, a little more oak, which I appreciate. This is not my flavor profile. This is not my flavor profile. And at $155 a bottle, it is a 1 liter, but $155 a bottle. There are Jack products for $32. The triple mash is what I'm thinking of. I would absolutely do over this.
I just listen. I like this, but we're talking $150. I mean, I guess it's one of those splurge bottles. It's cool to have. The box is cool to have.
Yeah.
On your mantle, but that's just, it's too rich for my blood. But now I'm going to go in. I took my eye droplet and I took a couple of drops of cool water, and
You did not use a dropper. Stop lying to people. Stop that. Now, water will bring down proof. That's what water does. And same thing with the cube. But what it does is some flavors more pronounced, some heightened, some a little more subdued. And that's why you got to try it in all the ways to see. Bourbon that doesn't work for you neat could work for you on a cube and vice versa.
It brought out a little bit more of that kind of that baking spice, and to me, it enhanced the sting even more.
Really?
Yeah, which I wasn't expecting. There's oak there, brown sugar, like a cherry, like a dark cherry. Listen, I like it. I really do. This is just all a value conversation. And when you could buy 5 bottles of Jack for 1 bottle of this, I just can't do it.
There it is. That's all there is to it. Yeah, for me, it is. There is a dollars conversation, but it's just not my juice. And I feel bad. I feel bad, but honesty above everything.
This isn't going to get back to Sinatra, is it?
Well, he's watching right now. It's time, Fingers Malloy, for News of the Week.
So I have a story from CNBC, Tony, that makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
Okay.
Because we have been talking for months now about the affordability crisis and how people are struggling to pay their bills. And
affordability crisis.
yes, that's what people are saying. And yet CNBC reports that there's research done by the BlackRock Foundation and Commonwealth that says since 2020, the number of low and moderate income investors has increased 167%.
Wait, stop. Walk me back through it. This is from CNBC.
Yes.
And this story reads that what now?
Since 2020, the number of low and moderate income investors has increased 167%.
Okay. That's not data. Data has to come from the follow-up question. I do not know if it's in the article. I actually just pulled it up. What age group? What age group are we talking about here? Because low and moderate income investors who are Gen Z and just starting out in life, this is very, very interesting that they see their economic future having one, and they're seeing what the markets can do, whether they're finding stuff on YouTube or on Instagram, other places, TikTok videos, where they're getting advice, ideas, etc. Or is this Gen X and boomers trying to engage in some level of catch up, thinking that they're going to live for freaking ever?
It does not have, from what I see here, a breakdown as far as the age of the investors. But what it does say is the reasons why are there's much more information out there for people to make intelligent decisions on investing. And then on top of it, there are many more avenues in which to invest, particularly through apps.
Yeah.
Make it much easier for people to invest.
But it's been easier for the last 20 years. The apps have been there, 15 years. They've been there. It has been easier. So you had said something to me the other day that you think maybe people are starting to have a little more faith in the economy, that maybe some things have turned a corner. Now, I think that what has happened with Iran changes all that. We should get into what's going on with Iran, and certainly we can only give you the information we have now and not information that might change, and this is a fluid situation. I would like to think that that's true, because that's a nice sign. I don't know if it necessarily is true, but I would like to think that it's true.
I buy that. You do see certain apps, and I don't have the information on what apps they are off the top of my head or in front of me, but where they'll even take, when you make a purchase, they'll round up and then take that money and invest it. So it may only be 30 cents. You spend $6.70 on something, they'll take 30 cents, roll it into an account, and over time, it's a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. But if you are making several purchases a day, a week, and a year, that does add up, and it counts.
If you're not teaching your kids about compounding, start with anything and just keep at it. That's all you got to do. Just keep at it. Don't look at it every day. Just let it cook. Life will be good down the road. It will. Keep it here. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. We do Eat, Drink, Smoke to avoid the politics. We started it this way. We both do political radio. Myself in Indianapolis with a morning show here and a nationally syndicated radio show, Fingers Malloy in Michigan. And we wanted Eat, Drink, Smoke to be the break and the escape from that. But we also talk about what's being discussed in the cigar lounge. And the war in Iran is something that's being discussed in the cigar lounge, so it's going to get discussed here. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That's America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. So this was early last weekend, Saturday morning, the United States and Israel engaging in this coordinated attack against the Iranian regime. You then had the announcement from President Trump, a video announcement. The Israeli state, absolutely, we are involved in this. You had 40 high-level members of the Iranian regime taken out. The Ayatollah Khomeini, was killed. You had Iran pushing back and firing at neighboring countries like Kuwait and Qatar, countries that would normally possibly be on Iran's side. Well, that ended. That is over. This has continued in the days ahead. Now, as we are talking to you, we only have limited information. It's only been a few days, so things absolutely can change. But the real, as we bring you this part of the story, is not whether or not we agree or disagree. If I'm asked, I'll tell you what I think. And if you ask me, I do agree. But we can discuss that part of it later. Oil prices immediately shot up. The markets went all sorts of cattywampus. And it's kind of amazing that you take a look at, I think it was on a Tuesday, the Dow went down 1,200 points immediately. And then it came back and it closed 400 points down. Now, don't get me wrong, 400 points down is a real down. But I think the story here is that if there's still these fluctuations, there's still this kind of feeling it out, what it means. The oil prices went up per barrel. The Brent crude was at $80 a barrel. The Brent crude was at $87 a barrel at one moment that I saw this week. It could be higher by now. And then the West Texas crude, which comes out of the ground, was at $80. The West Texas is always a little less expensive than the Brent crude on the barrel price. Gas prices have been coming down. And if you want to take a look at popularity polls and approval polls, Trump's popularity was going up because gas prices had come down. This changes things. So when you were seeing national averages that were getting that $2 and, the administration claims a little bit lower, I would say it was a little bit higher. I think we're now going to see $3 plus gas for a while, especially when you see oil refineries in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, and other places that are offline right now because they're dealing with these attacks that are coming from Iran. And Iran and Saudi Arabia are not friends. They have been in this fight for hegemonic power. The whole civil war in Yemen is a proxy fight between the Saudis and Iran via a group called the Houthi rebels, Houthi. So there's no love lost there. But the America's acceptance or not acceptance of this, and I'm calling it a war, you can call it a conflict, call it anything you will, I'm just using a more generic term, is all going to be based on whether or not it increases their prices and for how long. I think that's how people look at this.
And also how many American service members end up, unfortunately, losing their lives during this whole operation.
Right.
But, it's strange that when this happened, and especially because there was talk, Iranian threats of cutting off the Strait of Hormuz, which
may still come. By the time you hear this, it may have happened.
And 20% of the world's oil supply flows through that strait. There used to be talk if that threat ever happened, you'd see oil shoot up to $150 a barrel. Of course, that hasn't happened, but the threat has been there. I'm actually surprised that at this point, as we're speaking, that oil hasn't shot up more than it has, especially with the attack on the refineries that you were talking about, and then the threat of the Strait of Hormuz being closed.
And some people have asked, how is that going to happen? The Strait of Hormuz is there's this little where the Persian Gulf is. It goes into the Gulf of Oman. Look at a map. It's really interesting. There's this jut out that takes place. And so it's a very, very thin bit of area where these massive ships are going around. You put a couple of ships in there sideways, no one's getting through. And what the theory has been, what the Iranians would do is they would take some of their ships and just sink them. Boom, right there. Now, the initial attack took out 11 ships out of the Iranian Navy. Now, there are other ships and there are other boats and there are other things that they could do. They've game planned this, but they've also lost a tremendous amount of their leadership, and they may not be able to operate the way they normally operated. But yeah, that is a huge one. That is a huge one. Not only oil price, but lives lost.
And the other thing that I think needs to be talked about is how impressive it is that they were able to pull off this operation without any leaks. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone felt like this was coming. But usually you hear whispers, hey, it's coming now. Hey, we're going to see something this weekend. And it really, I felt, even though there was a buildup, there was still talk of negotiations. And the fact that it happened Saturday morning, I think, caught a lot of people off guard. And I think it's really impressive that they were able to pull this off without any leaks.
Can I change the subject for one moment?
Sure, absolutely.
You have some cigar ash in your right eyebrow.
Of course.
Oh,
some of us have a real passion and flair for cigars, Tony.
My mistake.
Thank you.
It's still there.
Still there.
Yeah. Thank you. It was totally freaking me out. I know it was serious, but come on.
Come on.
The ability as of late, and again, however you feel politically, whatever, for this Pentagon, the attack that took out the nuclear facilities in Iran, total misdirection. What the capture of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. These have been incredible operations. One of the things that you also have to be looking at is the taking of Maduro leads to the U.S. control of Venezuelan oil. Agree or disagree, I'm just saying what is. Now you have this, and it's a control of an oil flow, and both of those places engage serious oil flow to China. And so what you have to be looking at is how China reacts, because this is approximately 1/5 of the oil that they get. Remember, they're also getting oil from Russia. This is going to either force them to do without or buy on the regular market, which is going to cost them a whole bunch more money, and which is also going to tighten supply, right? Less supply because more is going to be used, increased demand, and that is also going to raise prices. That's standard stuff. So how China acts and reacts on this is going to be pretty interesting of a story to tell. One of the places that has plenty supply is the good people at Defiance Beef. DefianceBeef.com for your steaks, for your burgers, you got your tenderloins, you got your strips, you got your ribeyes. You order the cow as you want to. Quarter cow, half cow, full cow comes right from Indiana directly to your door. Everything individually frozen, cut to your specifications. And we've used the soup bones, we've used the cube steak and made country fried steak out of it. Has been fantastic. It has all been terrific, and aged 21 days. The flavor is remarkable, and the burgers are just out of this world. You want to go to DefianceBeef.com. DefianceBeef.com. Use promo code EatDrinkSmoke and get $150 off your order. They've got the supply, and all you need to do is treat your family better, treat yourself better, eat real meat. And that's DefianceBeef.com. Use promo code EatDrinkSmoke. Get $150 off your quarter cow, half cow, or full cow.
It's going to be interesting what comes next.
Yeah.
If we see domestic terrorist attacks here in the United States, I think people need to be prepared for that. And we'll see if this really does wrap up in 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's the question. And by the way, 4 or 5 weeks is what the president said. And it's this idea that our cell is going to get activated. It's certainly, there's some heightened alert. We just got to be aware of these things. The Jack Daniel's Sinatra, $155 a bottle. If you want it, go grab it. The Year of the Duque from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, $17.50. And the answer is yes. I'm a yes on this cigar. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. It's Eat Drink Smoke.
Follow Eat Drink Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat Drink Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat Drink Smoke, and Instagram at Eat Drink Smoke Podcast.
Hey, you made it all the way through to the end of this video. We're proud of you.
You should watch more of our videos. Make sure you subscribe right there to Eat, Drink, Smoke, wherever it is you get your videos, on YouTube, on Rumble, and don't forget Instagram, Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast, where we've got the shorts and some very cool things going on.